What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and elite tastemaker, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
Good to be here with you, good buddy. Another Monday, another episode. Ready to rock it.
Another Monday, another episode. I'll tell you what, making the show notes yesterday, I was very excited about today. Not necessarily because of what we're talking about, but I don't know. We've been having a lot of fun on the episodes lately. I feel like the last few weeks it's been really good, and we've been having some fun times with the stream because if you don't know, we stream this live on twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and youtube.com/supergamerboys when we've recorded on Monday nights. So follow us over there, subscribe over there, and check us out when we're recording live. But yeah, it's been a fun time lately. And I just got really excited. I'm like, yes, I can't wait. I can't wait to get back in it, talk about some video games, and have some fun with my pals. So
one way to make you look forward to Mondays.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like typically Mondays are the bad day, but no, it's like, no,
Woo.
Mondays are pretty great. Mondays are
good.
Speaking of Mondays, how has your Monday been? Has it been a Monday, or has it been anything interesting happening? I guess since last week or the last week. How's your last week been?
My last week wasn't that bad. It seemed like it went by pretty quick, so I was happy about that. Nothing out of the ordinary, kind of crazy. I did see the new Ghostbusters on Saturday. Had a pretty fun time with that.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Because apparently it's like a 3 out of 10 according to IGN or something like that.
No, not even close. I do think it's definitely like you can see where the story's going, of course, but I had a fun time with it. It felt like another Ghostbusters movie, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
So.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say I saw it as a matinee, and I feel like I definitely, it wasn't wasted time or wasted money for me. I don't know if I could tell you to go for a full price ticket.
Okay.
But if you like Ghostbusters movies, maybe so. I would also say if you decided to wait for streaming, I wouldn't be mad at you either. But that's not because it's bad. It's just because it's your by the numbers Ghostbuster flick. Like you can probably piece the plot together based on the previews. So
okay. Yeah, I haven't even watched the one that came out a couple years ago, like where they kind of rebooted everything. So I'm a whole movie behind. I got to watch that first.
Gotcha.
And I still got to catch Dune 2 as well. Dune 2.
I still got to watch Dune 1. I know. Hang me up. String me up outside in the cold. I haven't seen Dune.
Adrian. Oh no, Adrian. Is that what we needed? You were saying you were trying to figure out what to do on stream tomorrow. Should we do like a watch along stream?
3-hour Dunes watch along?
You and me and Dune 2 or Dune 1. Oh man. I very much enjoyed the first one. It's a long movie and it's very I don't know, man. Be honest. I'll be honest, it's slow. But I don't care about that. I love a slow burn. I like the slow burn of the way it's like slowly giving you like the plot and building up these characters. It's not just like a bang, 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 like Marvel blockbuster. It's like, oh, we're actually going to sit here and like see more of this world, sit with these characters a little bit, sit in these environments, which are beautiful. Like I'd spend as much time as possible just to like, honestly, I'd watch 3 hours of just the camera, like panning over deserts and like buildings and armies with the music playing. I don't even care. Like it's such a cool world they've built. Kind of like how Disney. Have you seen on Disney Plus? They have like the Star Wars one, Sounds of the Galaxy. It's literally just like going through different areas from the Star Wars
basically stuff for you to fall asleep to.
With like music and sound effects from the worlds. I'm like that's the thing I need to do with Dune. I'd watch that 100%.
I don't know, man. I just feel like, you know how sometimes people can hype something up and say it's really good, and then sometimes there's like the internet takes things into overdrive, like super overdrive. Like they were saying, like Dune 2 is there's this revisionist history, I guess, that's like Dune 2 is what the Empire Strikes Back should have been. Star Wars was never good, and Dune 2 was what Star Wars was supposed to be. And I'm like, brother, you gotta relax. You gotta relax.
It's a little too far. Those are some hefty words you're throwing around.
Those are some incredibly hefty words you're throwing around here. All right. You wouldn't have a Dune adaptation if Star Wars didn't give it a shot first and take elements from Dune to do theirs. All right. They proved that sci-fi could work, and that's how you were able to get Dune, was because of that. But to say Star Wars was never good, Dune was what Star Wars was supposed to be, that made me be like, do I really want to see this? Like, and not because, I'm scared it's going to be better than Star Wars. It's like, no, like, there's no way that movie is that good. It may be fantastic. It may be a masterpiece, but to say it's so good that one of the greatest movies ever made is now trash in comparison, there's no way.
No, I highly doubt that. I mean, cinematically, I could see it blowing Star Wars away. Like,
I would expect that because they're 50 years apart.
Yeah, exactly. But story-wise, it's like, I don't know. Empire is pretty great.
It's pretty fantastic.
Pretty much the top of the charts, you know.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna get around to them sooner than later. But I'm not necessarily in a fever to do so.
Because if it's on, I'm trying to remember. Because I just got an email recently. I think Twitch is getting rid of watch parties soon, like starting in April. So if you're gonna do it, you have like 5 days until the end of the month to do it. You can do an Amazon watch party watching Dune on our Twitch channel. So can't
I just like watch it on my own and then have everybody sync up like the old days? You know, like
I guess
3,
you could do that.
2, 1, go.
Play. Yeah, I guess you could do that. That's totally another way to do it. But oh man, crazy.
I'm old, man. I know all the tricks. Okay. Yeah. These youngins and their watch parties, they wouldn't have survived back then.
I think Kind of Funny has done that a few times. Sometimes they do the Amazon watch parties, because I know I've tuned into a stream and it'll say like, oh, do you want to log into Amazon Prime? You do it, boom, and then you can see what they're seeing. But I feel like they were going through a bunch of 80s movies, Mike and Nick, and someone else, and I think they were doing some of them where it's just like, you have to be there at the beginning to sync up, or else, sorry, you're out of the loop.
You're not getting in here.
You're either here at the beginning or you're not here. Oh man. All right.
How about yourself, man? Wait, hold on.
Oh, okay.
We're still checking in. How about yourself? How was your week? What's been going on in Garrett land?
Week was okay. I think I kind of mentioned it last week. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what we talked about in episode 10 minutes after we finished recording, let alone a week later.
I don't remember the beginning of the episode at the end of the episode. All right.
So I can't remember if I know I mentioned it briefly. I can't remember if I really like expanded on it at all, but I found out my job is kind of in a rocky position, AKA, non-existent in April 15th. So more than just rocky. Yeah. And so I'm thankful I was given at least like a month heads up, but I've been putting out applications. But last week I had a couple interviews. They went really well. It was feeling really positive about it. I was supposed to hear today. Originally they said that you should hear back by Monday. And if you don't, by the end of the day, let us know. Reach out to us. And so around 2:30 or so, I don't want to wait too late, because I don't want to wait right before they close. So around 2:30 or so, I sent an email hey, how's any update on that position? It was a great interview. Really appreciated talking with so-and-so. And they're 4:59 p.m. right before they close. I got an email oh, hey, we're still working through stuff. You should know by the end of the week. We'll let you know. I'm let you know possible next steps. I'm dang.
Now here's what you don't want to do.
Just the stress. There's so much stress. I just want to know. Just finish it. Either tell me no or tell me yes. No, lead me on here. Come on.
You don't want to badger them at this point, okay? You got to wait.
No, yeah. Now that they've said that, it's okay, no, I need to just let it wait. They told me to reach out to them. I did, and now it's okay, now we just let it sit.
Right. You've shown initiative.
Yeah. But I went ahead and I was you know what? I'll put out a few more applications today just in case, because it's all right, I'm gonna it might take them a week or so to go through their applications. And by then I'll either know about this position or have this position, either not have it or have it. So yeah, we'll see where that all goes. If anyone's looking for someone to do video stuff, editing, social media, marketing, whatever, hit me up right here. Garrett at supergamerboys.com. Shoot us an email. Oh, man. All right. Well, with that, I think it's probably about time we talk about some video games. Today, we're going to be talking about if Persona 6 might launch on the Xbox. Marvel 1943 showing off the beauty of Unreal 5. And if Dragons, the name of this game throws me off every time. Dragons? Dogma. 2, microtransactions are really that bad. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and our Patreon exclusive show, Super Later Boys, which we need to record this week because we delayed it last week. Maybe stay tuned. Should be coming out probably the end of this week to keep it in this month. Hang on. Let me. Where's the calendar? Oh yeah, we got time. We'll get it done this week. We'll figure it out. Stay tuned for that. But there's 5 other previous episodes you can go listen to right now, Patreon exclusive, and we'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, not in our ad section, but you should go check it out. It's a good time. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music. They are, and DJ Trooz even. Tonight we aren't playing DJ Trooz, I believe. Let me look at my playlist. Yeah, tonight is a Jack Sriracha and Yate playlist. If you're loving what you're hearing, go check out their music on Apple Music and Spotify. Links to their stuff are in the show description. And again, thank you so much for allowing us to use your music here on the show and not copyright striking us into oblivion. We appreciate it.
And if you make awesome music, send it over our way. If you'd like us to use it, we definitely will.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
But it better be good or else I'm going to flame you.
It better be really good. Yeah. No GarageBand loops like what I make.
Unless you can make some nasty GarageBand loops, but
unless it's really good.
Yeah.
Our theme song, GarageBand loops, you know? See? I made that in like an afternoon. That's what it's been ever since the beginning. If you know how to make music and want to make a new theme song for Super Gamer Boys, that'd be appreciated too.
Be our guest.
The amount of times we get copyright claims because our song sounds so similar to so many other songs because I made it with GarageBand loops. Oh man, it drives me absolutely batty. It would be great to have like an original song that is just ours that I'd never have to deal with copyright claim again. That'd be great. All right. Well, normally we'd check the mail right now, Adrian, but we didn't get any questions this week. So unless someone in the chat throws something out for us to talk about,
Gamerbot got a friggin' free night off.
I know. I mean, they've already been taking so much time off. They have so much PTO stacked up. And then now we're just like giving it to them. Like, sorry, can't.
No work for you tonight.
Don't got anything for you. Okay, here we go. Carrie is in the chat. Saved us right here. I feel like this is, I don't know if it's intentional or not, piggybacking off of the horror that we're had to witness last week when she talked about
the sushi roll. I remember that.
The sushi, the pizza sushi. Yeah. Now she's asking best pizza topping. So it's better. Don't get me wrong, but I will never forget the pizza sushi. I'm scarred for life about that.
Okay, hold on. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that we universally agree.
Yes.
In the overarching umbrella, it's pepperoni.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, pepperoni. I
just wanted to make sure we had the foundation that it's overall it's pepperoni.
I had to take a second there. I hesitated. I just want to explain why, because there's a lot of pizza toppings out there and a lot of good ones.
There is a lot of fantastic ones.
I didn't want to just rapid fire and then eat my words later. So yes, I do think pepperoni is pretty much number one. like 9.5 times out of 10, I'm buying just a pepperoni pizza. And especially, hang on, Adrian, hang on. I gotta, what's it called? There's a place here in San Diego.
If you're gonna show me, let me wait before you do that. If you're gonna show me a pepperoni pizza, and the pepperonis aren't doing this, they aren't bubbled up in a little cup shape with a couple of drops of oil in the middle of them, don't even show it to me. Don't even show it to me, because that's not a pepperoni pizza.
This is a good one. There's this.
If it doesn't look like when you fry bologna for a fried bologna sandwich, when it bubbles up and cups up like that, I don't want it. That's not real pepperoni.
Square Pizza Company here in San Diego. And
Square Pizza Company.
They have.
You mean Square Pie? Great Value Square Pie guys? Is that what you're talking about?
No, they're good. They're so good. Detroit style pizza. Which
that's what it sounded like.
I don't know if I've ever had Detroit style pizza before this. I've always seen it and it looked good, but never had it until I came here. Went there with my brother-in-law, Toby. And let me tell you, I was trying to find an exact picture of the pizza we got. I can't find it. But yeah, it was like ultimate pepperoni, like covered in stuff. Had the crispy, cupped up pepperoni, which is fantastic. What I love is they go big with the toppings. So like there's like a big old dollop of like fresh mozzarella on top and like garlic in the crust and cheese in the on the edges of the crust. Like most of the crust, it's not just bread. It's like a not burnt.
Talk to me. I'm listening.
Not burnt, but like a really crispy, like melty cheese on the edge of the crust, like baked right into the bread. It's so good. Getting those bites of like garlic and the fresh Parmesan with like the crispy pepperoni in there. It's number one. And want to know what's even better is for dessert. They I don't know. I guess it's kind of connected. It's Italian, even though this is Detroit style pizza. They sell cannolis. Let me tell you, these cannolis.
I figured you were gonna say cannolis.
What a way to finish off a pizza. I told they have a small or large size. Large is like, they call it large, but it's like a normal size cannoli. And then they have small, and it's like little tiny bite size. And I was like, dude, like I'm so hungry or so full right now. I'm like, we ate so much pizza. Let's get smalls. Toby's like, all right. He goes up, orders the 2 large cannolis. Oh my gosh. I got like halfway through it. I'm like, I'm going to be sick, but it's so freaking good. It's so good. No, I finished it. You
did? And rolled home?
Pretty much. Oh, 100%. It was one of those things where it was so messy. Like we were heading towards the car and I was like, all right, like I'll just eat it in the car. And I took finish it in the car. I took like one bite and immediately like powdered sugar all over. And like it was started dripping cream into my hand and into the bag. And I'm like, no, I'm finishing this. This was a bad idea. I'm eating this. So I was like set up on the trunk of my car and I'm like eating this thing, making a mess all over the trunk of my car.
Looking miserable.
So yeah, so full. I get in. I like feel like
our numbers should have done this.
I can barely buckle the seatbelt. I'm like, oh, too much pizza and cannoli. But let me tell you, that was so good. But I'm trying to think. A number 2 to pepperoni. What's number 2 to pepperoni?
Sausage.
Is it sausage or is it bacon?
Ooh, wait. Bacon bits, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, what do you mean by bacon bits?
Like, bacon, the ones that come in the little shaker bottles.
Oh, like so, like the bacon bits? the faking bacon stuff.
No, it's actual bacon. It's just
I was thinking of like small pieces of bacon, but it's real bacon. Like they cook up a strip of bacon, chop it up, and then sprinkle it on top. So it's like just chunks of real bacon, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's all bacon.
Okay. I had a combo one time that I was very surprised by. Again, with my brother-in-law, we got a pizza thing going. Me and Toby, we're the pizza bros over here.
Pizza boys.
He got a tomato and bacon, and like that was it. Like cheese, obviously, like cheese, tomato, and bacon. And I was like, that sounds terrible. Like, why didn't you just get pepperoni like a normal person? And then I took one bite of it. I'm like, this is amazing. This is so good. It is surprisingly good. The acidity of the tomato with like the salty and even like sweetness of like the apple with smoked bacon. I was like, this is really good. This is.
Can I raise you on that one?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a little extra meat in that kind of combination, I've had the same one, right? With the tomato and the bacon. Grilled chicken. You put grilled chicken pieces on there. And instead of marinara, I get garlic sauce. I get white sauce.
Ooh.
So you do white sauce, you do tomato, you do bacon bits, and you do grilled chicken. And it's like a refreshing garden salad pizza.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, I feel like I could eat a whole pizza and I would feel fine afterwards. It just sounds such like light ingredients. Like probably not. I'd probably still feel like trash because it's still like greasy and a bunch of bread.
Sometimes I put a little green onion on there just for the flourish, for the the little pop taste, but it's a solid pie right there.
Yeah, Carrie mentions she's currently eating a pepperoni sausage, which that's a classic. That's a classic. Like,
you can't go wrong with meat lovers. Come on now.
But I don't know.
Now, wait. A question.
Where are you?
Are you a stuffed crust guy?
If it's available, yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Cool.
I love it. If I could just get cheese.
Sometimes it's so expensive.
Cheese in any form is always a go for me. Pretty much.
Anyway, that stuff it'll back you up.
What I was going to ask, what do you think about mushrooms? Because I know some people are not about mushrooms, but I love mushrooms.
Don't hate them. Don't love them. If they're there, I'll eat them. I'm not looking for a mushroom. I'm not ordering a mushroom per se. If it's on something and it's like all the rest of the ingredients sound really good, all right, throw the mushrooms on. I'm more of a mushrooms in other contexts kind of person. So like mushrooms in salad, sauteed mushrooms in a whatever kind of vegetable medley type of deal. But on pizza, it's just like, they're good. They're okay.
I feel like I really love it, but I rarely order it just because if like toppings cost money, when you're making a pizza, it's like everyone, It's like, I'm going to get what counts, get my money's worth. I'm going to get the, protein, the good stuff. But there's a back home in New York, there's a pizza place, Cicino's, and you got to get this pepperoni mushroom. Like, it's just the perfect combo there. I don't know what it is. I love their pizza. I love their wings, best chicken wings. But getting the pizza and mushroom there is like, all right, you have to. You're doing it wrong if you don't get pepperoni mushroom there. Or even, I don't have this very often either, but I feel like I don't see it very often like on menus unless you do it yourself. But even like olives. Are you an olive guy too or no? I like olives as well, but I feel like it's so rarely actually put on pizzas unless you do it yourself. And again, I'm not going to.
And you know what? To me, it's so overpowering too with olives. Like when you put a good fresh olive on there, I feel like you only taste that over all the other ingredients. So I don't dislike the taste of olives, but I think they overpower too much stuff on a pizza.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think I like black olives, though, because they are more mild. But interestingly, Carrie mentions in the chat green olives and tomatoes. That sounds like a little too much. Like green olives have a much more potent flavor than
more
black olives. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but it just sounds like really intense, like green olives. Although tomatoes very mild, so it would just basically taste like a olive pizza. Like I feel like you wouldn't really taste the tomato too much, other than just get that acidity from the tomato.
She said not sun-dried tomatoes though. Yeah, not sun-dried. No, I'm talking about like diced tomatoes. Diced tomatoes that are like, when they're cooked in there, they basically taste like roasted tomatoes. Yeah.
Well, now we've successfully made me extremely hungry for the rest of this episode. I was just thinking that's great. That was a good call to do that. Now we have a whole episode to do still. I got some popcorn over here. You go ahead. Dang it. Thank you very much for that question, Carrie. Appreciate it. If you want to throw us last minute questions because we didn't get any on mailbag, join us on Monday nights when we record. You can be in the chat right now as well, throwing questions at us. But now it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Perfect. Carrie says that they'll share their pizza. All right, ship it on over.
Right.
I'll DM you.
You're gonna have to convert it into ones and zeros and send it through Discord, and we'll have to decompile it or decompress it.
Just get that 7-zip going to unzip that file.
7-zip. 7-za.
7-za. Oh my gosh. All right. Hopefully OBS is working. Yep, there it is. This first news story comes to us from Eurogamer. Persona 6 will be coming to multiple platforms, leaks suggest. It's written by Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer.
We did it, boys.
Persona 6 will be coming to multiple platforms, including Xbox and Switch/Switch 2. That's according to industry insiders Nate the Hate and Midori, who have each now asserted that the next installment of Atlus's fan-favorite RPG series will be coming to more platforms. From information I've heard, it does seem that Persona 6 will be coming to the Xbox, Nate the Hate said. So fans Persona have something to look forward to. Not 100% sure if it's like a day and date with the PlayStation version, but considering the way the Persona games have been day and date with the multi-platform releases at this point, it may be a safe assumption to make that Persona 6 will be day and date on Xbox and PlayStation. It would be a really big deal if Microsoft was able to secure that on Game Pass, which recently they've been going crazy on Game Pass, getting all of them. You know, they've been getting like 3, 4.
I mean, that was the big indicator, right? That this was going to happen. Was the Xbox was the first out of the gate to have Persona on their platform versus it always being on PlayStation. So it makes sense that was part of the deal. That you're gonna make sure that 6 comes on there too.
Yeah. Noted leaker Midori then jumped onto the Twitter thread to confirm Nate's information was correct, adding, "And it's coming to multiple platforms too." What's not clear is when the highly anticipated sequel will release. We suspect it was started development in or around 2021, which is when we spotted Atlus recruiting for the project, or whether it will feature a female protagonist. Apparently that's another kind of rumor going around. At the Xbox partner preview earlier this month, Atlus announced an expansion pass for the remake, including the much requested epilogue, The Answer. Persona 3 Reload, released earlier this year, was criticized for not including all the extras from the various past versions of the game to provide a complete experience. Now in a new interview, series general producer Kazuhisa Wada has shared how that feedback inspired development of the expansion. Next up from Atlus will be Metaphor Refantasio later this year, which moves Persona's social gameplay into a high fantasy setting. Adrian, as our resident Persona expert, how does this make you feel? Because up till now, context, I guess, mainline games have pretty much been exclusive to PlayStation consoles up until 5 Royal, right? And then it started. Right. Then it came to Xbox and stuff, and now over the basically the years after that, they've been bringing past like we just mentioned 3 and 4 and all that to Xbox now. But is this a good thing, bad thing? Are you excited about it? Is there any fears or worries you're having about this possibly happening? What are your thoughts?
No, this is fantastic, brother. The more people that are playing Persona, the better. 100%.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that would be a negative to this.
I mean, with having so many more, not to say they're not capable, because obviously with all these ports and stuff, the ports have been coming out and they've been great. But
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not worried about that part. That's why I was trying to.
But they didn't all come out day and date at the same time. Like they came out with the PlayStation 1 and then they were able to trick off the other ones. Do you think if they were to do a day and date multi-platform release for everything, is there a chance where the Switch version runs like trash, or there's weird bugs, or do you think are they a big enough studio to handle this extra work?
Well, I mean, they also have Sega backing them too. So if they need those extra resources, they can always reach out to Sega, and Sega has connections everywhere. So I based on what we have with the ports that we already got of 3, 4, and 5, I have no doubt that that 6 is going to be able to run fine on whatever hardware it comes out on. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see, I only see it being a boon that there's more and more people, because now you're going to expand your fan base. You're going to sell more copies of 6, and then they're going to be like, okay, well, 6 did numbers, let's get to 7. And it's just going to keep going and going and going like that. So I got no problem with it. Now you're going to have your console warriors be like, well, it's a PlayStation fan, it's a PlayStation series and it should stay on PlayStation. Here's the problem with that. If you go back and you look at Persona games, especially 5 was the big breaking point when people were starting to see that clearly the wheels were turning for Atlas to start to break away from just being PlayStation. Because on the box for PS4, which is the original platform it came out for, it said, normally when you have an exclusive for PS4, it'll say only on PlayStation in the corner.
Right.
Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, neither of them said that. So that was kind of interesting, foreshadowing of what exactly was going to be here in the future. And people were swearing up and down. I remember arguing with people on Twitter about this, being like, bro, it's not a PlayStation exclusive per se. There is no and has never been an agreement that Persona games are exclusive to PlayStation. It's more of like a mutual beneficiary, like PlayStation and Atlas are homies. We've got a good thing going, let's keep it going. But there's never been like an wet ink bound contract to say that you are only going to put your games here. So you had to be crazy to think so. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. It's like, Sony's been good for us. They've been good to us, but there's so many more people out there that we could reach with PC, with Switch, with Xbox. And now they're seeing that, right? Like, remember, I don't know if you remember, but when Persona 4 came out on PC for the first time, it did gangbusters. It did way, way, way more than they initially thought it was going to do. Yeah. And I really think that's what helped Atlas wake up to be like, we should probably look into bringing our games to other platforms if they're doing this kind of numbers just on PC. And that's why we are where we are now. So I fully expect Persona 6 to be day and date on every console. They're all gonna have their own, limitations of what they can do and what they can't do. I'm looking at Switch 2 likely, but at least it'll be there. So
I mean, it's not like Persona games are necessarily like technically hardware intensive. So, like, I feel like, and the Switch 2 is supposed to be more powerful than the Switch, obviously. And Persona 5 is on Switch, isn't it? Or no? Did it not come? Okay,
no, it is.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, if Switch can handle Persona 5 Royal, I could totally see anything that they do with Persona 6 coming. Like, because they're not like very intense games. They're very. They got some big worlds and stuff, but even then, like I played a bit of Persona 5, and it's big worlds, but in these like small alleyways, if that makes sense. It's like a lot of like slices that's broken up into. So obviously, if they ever change it, want to go bigger, and like imagine doing like a big open world like Persona 5 or something, then or Persona 6. They could do. Like that's when we're gonna run into technical issues. But yeah, I just know like. I just feel like so often nowadays games that shouldn't, or that you would assume wouldn't have technical issues are, and it's just like, it's flabbergasting, just to like see that happen. Like, I mean, just talk about last week, the Star Wars Battlefront collection. Like there was no reason for that to be broken like it was. I mean, it's a none. 20-year-old game that could have easily just been like slapped an emulator on a disc and then just set up some servers that it referenced. I say that like I know what I'm talking about. I don't, but I mean, I could still play the originals that way if I wanted to. So why wouldn't I don't know. It just blows my mind that a huge company like Aspyr, a huge studio, it wasn't able to make a 20-year-old game work properly. It just blows my mind. Like things have gotten easier, if anything, especially if you're just using like, I don't know, you're just working with this old game. Or they should have just totally remade it. Like why they trying to reinvent or not remake it, but like do a full-on remaster where they actually like remastered the assets. They didn't. They just used all the original assets. That was another big gripe. Is like they didn't really actually up-res anything. Like everything's kind of the same.
Well, they AI upscaled it, I'm sure, or AI or whatever. But
so it's like you would hope that with this game coming out on multi-platform, like they'd have that in the bag, but you also never know. That would suck. It also come out
based
on
their
Xbox
track record,
and just tanking, but
but based off their track record with 3, 4, and 5 and how smoothly those went, I don't foresee any issues.
Yeah. They, like this article said, they put out other games besides Persona. Like later this year, they have Metaphor Refantasio coming out, and isn't there Shin Megami
Tensei 5? It's getting like it's golden or it's royal, like the deluxe version re-released.
Okay, and the launch of those games generally go good. Like I'm just trying to get a feel for like Atlas as a studio.
The launch of that game was. The launch of that game was good. It was just crippled because the Switch hardware was so limited, so the frame rate wasn't the best. But the complete game was there, and now you can see, now that it's on like PS5 and Series X, like it's running at a solid, rock solid 60 and everything. So
those are more action oriented games, though, right? Not like the turn based.
Those are turn based too, but it's the scope of them is a lot bigger than a Persona game. So
okay. That was a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, time will tell. That's exciting. Yeah, I mean, I'm only like a newer. I'm newer into the Persona verse, and only really ever playing just a handful, couple dozen hours of Persona 5, which is just scratching the surface in reality. But I love what I played, and but it's just exciting to know, like, okay, more people will be able to play these games. I know how much you love them, so. We'll see. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to just play it on your Switch on the go. That's one thing I love about Persona 5. Persona 5 is Royal, as I picked it up on Steam Deck, and play that mobily is kind of awesome, honestly.
Yes, dude.
All right, this next news article comes to us from Darren Bonthus over at GameSpot. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra game revealed with a new trailer featuring Captain America and Black Panther. A first look at Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra has just dropped at the Game Developers Conference during the State of Unreal presentation, showing off more of the game's story and gameplay. Set in the middle of World War II, the original story from Uncharted's Amy Hennig and her Skydance new media studio focuses on Captain America, Black Panther, and their allies as they work to liberate Paris from the Axis forces. While Captain America and Black Panther are heroes in their own right, the two don't immediately see eye to eye. It's not long before the King of Wakanda and the first Avenger are at one another's throats. In addition to Captain America and Black Panther, players will also explore occupied Paris as Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier and member of the Howling Commandos, and Anali, a Wakandan spy embedded in the city. This game's version of Captain America is described as a young version of Steve Rogers, while the man underneath the Wakandan armor is Azuri, the grandfather of the modern era's Black Panther T'Challa. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is being developed in Unreal Engine 5 and also makes use of the facial animation tool MetaHuman Animator to help create more authentic performances. This is the same tool being used in Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga to produce realistic facial expressions. And according to Hennig, all the sequences in the first trailer were pulled directly from the game running in real time. Hennig added that her goal has always been to create cinematic and immersive experiences that allow a player to feel like they're in a movie, but with all the player agency expected from a video game. In the past, this has always felt like it was just beyond our grasp, Hennig said, but I think we're finally crossed the threshold. When we're telling a character-driven story, it's critical for us to faithfully capture every nuance of our actors' stellar performances. So we've been incredibly grateful to partner with our friends on the MetaHuman team to tell our story. In a blog post on the Marvel website, the cast for Marvel 1943 was also revealed. Players can expect to hear the following voices, bringing the iconic new characters introduced in the game to life. Drew Morland as Captain America and Steve Rogers, Carrie Payton as Black Panther and Azuri, Mark K. Richardson as Gabriel Jones, Megalyn Echikunwoke as Nanali, and Joel Johnston as Howard Stark. Marvel 1943 was first revealed in 2022, is one of the several Marvel games in development currently. Apparently, Deathloop Studio Arcane Line is working on a Blade game, while EA is working on Iron Man, Black Panther, and a mystery Marvel game. Game is slated for 2025. Whew. That was a lot of information, but Adrian, did you watch this trailer?
Did I watch it? Let me start off by saying, hold on. I think we all already know this by now, but Amy Hennig does not miss. Nope. Okay? And this trailer is more evidence of that. How good was this trailer, this preview? My goodness.
It was incredible. It was when the first time I saw it, funny enough, was I was scrolling through Instagram, and Jeff Keighley posted a video from his phone during the conference. Like, it was a recording that he took of the screen while sitting in the front row at the conference. So it was like really bad quality, and it almost looked like a leak. Like, it looked like he was like leaking this information. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is he thinking? He's gonna get in so much trouble. Like, oh, this looks amazing. What is going on? You can barely see it. And then, like, obviously, like, not long after, then the official videos were out on, YouTube and stuff like that. Like, no way. Like, the stuff she's doing, like, yeah, already from like a narrative standpoint, she doesn't miss. Like, she nails it every time.
This makes me incredibly excited and also enraged, because look at how good this project is slating to turn out, and then think about the project that we lost, the Star Wars project.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. Look what we could have had.
The Knights of the Old Republic remake you're talking about? Or you're talking about the Mandalorian one, the Mandalorian.
No. The Star Wars game that Amy was working on.
Oh, right. Well, I think that's what eventually that evolved in the Mandalorian one, but that one also just got canceled. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, that one she was doing originally. Imagine. So
what a bonehead move to get rid of that. Well, I guess you know what? It all worked out, because now we're getting this. So
yeah,
that worked out. But yeah, man, this game looks amazing. The character models are mind-blowingly good. Unreal 5 is nuts.
It's almost at times hard to even, like, it's so realistic looking. I was like, there's times where I'm like, oh, is this like a live? It was hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Like, I'll just put it at that. Like, it's hard to even explain, because it doesn't make sense. Like, obviously in my brain, I know it's a video game, but there's a few times like, that looks like it could just be like live action from a film set. Like, it doesn't look real, like something I'd take on my phone, but it looks real, something you'd see from a Hollywood movie.
Brother, we're getting closer and closer to getting out of the uncanny valley, dude. And it's
crazy. Yeah. The facial animations, just the movements, like when Black Panther's like jumping across the rooftops, and like the way his body's moving is even like very like looks similar to what it looked like in the Black Panther movie. I was like, oh man. I mean, granted, that's all a lot of that CG as well, but like I was saying,
conversation between he and Cap at the end.
Yeah.
Good.
It's wild where technology is at now. Like, when we first saw the Unreal demo there, I guess a couple years ago now, it was one of those things where it almost seemed too good to be true. It's like, it'll never actually look like this in game. This is a tech demo. And then they released that Matrix demo. It's like, again, yeah, like, okay, this looks cool, but this
is a one-off.
Still, this is a tech demo. Like, it's not an actual game. You can't do anything. It's just a world with stuff happening. And now that we're actually seeing like things in action, like Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and then this game, it's like, okay, no, this is the real deal. This is legit.
They're cooking.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it too, the first thing I thought of is how long before Kojima switches to using this? Because like they're using the Decima engine,
Guerrilla's old engine.
Yeah, that Guerrilla uses for is used for both of their Horizon games. So it's like it's good. The Decima engine's capable of a lot. Like, I mean, Horizon Forbidden West, their second game, is one of the most beautiful games on the PlayStation 5. Mm-hmm. Like they max that out, but it's like even still, like seeing this now, it's like, oh, this is just the beginning. People are just figuring out how to use Unreal 5. Imagine in like 5-10 more years, people like really know what they're doing with this engine. It's gonna be insane.
I think this is Kojima's last one, and then he's probably gonna look into Unreal. What is the new one? Pheasant? I guess that one's probably gonna be Unreal 5.
The PlayStation.
And I think the one he's
exclusive.
doing with Jordan Peele, isn't that Unreal 5?
I don't know.
Overdose?
For sure. It might have said in the trailer. I don't remember though.
But also, I want to let's not sleep on it. Like, Death Stranding 2 looked equally as good.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we said, they're using Decima engine, which Horizon Forbidden West looks amazing. So it's like Decima engine has the power in it. It just, I'm sure it takes a lot of finessing and work to get it there. Where like
modifications,
Unreal Engine 5, I'm sure it's still a lot of work, but I'm sure it's they definitely made it seem effortless. Like in this trailer, I'm like, oh my gosh, like. I mean, from the tech demos to the trailer, like every instance we've seen of it, every instance we've seen so far of Unreal Engine 5 almost makes it seem too easy. And it's like, that's what's wild, is like simplifying this technology where people can just make gorgeous things with just some scans and this AI, basically. Like I assume that's what a lot of the realistic features that are happening, the metahuman stuff, is just using like AI to animate and all that.
With the stretchy skin and
to simulate exactly all the simulations. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I can't wait for more about this game. I hope it comes out next year. I don't know. I just feel like nowadays 9 times out of 10 games get delayed. Yeah,
I stopped believing in game release in game release dates when they first like drop. It's like, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna you keep that date, and then I'll check back again in about 3 to 4, maybe even 6 months. If you still have that same date at that point, it's probably coming out.
Yeah,
but you got to give them a good wide berth, because you never know what's gonna happen, and maybe that's just a date that they'd like to hit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Also, I'm excited to see some gameplay. They didn't show actual. At least that the trailer is very cinematic. They could have shown gameplay. We just couldn't tell because it all looks so beautiful.
Do we know what kind of game it's supposed to be?
But that's what I was saying. Like, we don't really know what type of game it's even supposed to be. I would assume it's like an action adventure type game, similar to Uncharted.
Somebody said if this is another on one of the comments, they said if the cutscene ends and it turns out to be another Marvel card game, I'm gonna jump off a cliff. And I said, I totally understand, dude, because they love to do that. They love to put the craziest like previews and trailers and setups for this, and then it just turns into a mobile card game. It's
like Midnight Suns, brother. Which my buddy writes in the show sometimes, so it brings a lot. He's been so high on Midnight Suns, like he loves it. But that's what that is. Like, where like the cutscenes are amazing, like super cinematic, really cool. Like he says it's a really good story, like it's an amazing story. But then the gameplay is like this card game, which he enjoys. He loves it. He loves the strategy and all that. But I'm like, no, I'd rather just beat up some superheroes and stuff, some bad guys. Like, don't give me the card game. Get out of here. Like, Marvel. That would be so sad. Imagine that. Like, this game looks so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And then it's like, cuts over to like, all right, now you're going to play the chess.
Let's not even entertain it. Okay. Let's not even put that energy out there. We're good. We're good.
It's like an auto battle or a game or whatever like that. Or auto chess or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
No thanks. Man. That'd be horrible. All right. Let's move on to this last news story. This last one comes to us from Harvey Randall over at PC Gamer. When I saw PC Gamer did an article on this, after last week's PC Gamer article, I'm like, I got to go back to them again because they got good stuff over there.
They crushed last week.
If you missed it last week, what were they talking about? It was about something. And I just loved how like sarcastic and just like, I don't know.
It was Battlefront, wasn't it?
Frank it was. Yeah, I think that's what it was. They were just like, hey, where does it say how it is? We'll take it or leave it. The Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransactions are real and bafflingly silly, since nearly all of them can be found in the game without too much trouble. That's just the title of the article. I want to say up front that I am by no means defending the choice to slap a bunch of microtransactions onto Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm also not surprised by the current state of the game's Steam reviews sitting at mixed at the time of writing, in the same way that I'm not surprised when kicking beehives gets your ankles stung. 2 important points of context. Firstly, Dragon's Dogma 2 came out recently, and despite some nasty performance issues, it's smashingly fun and weird RPG. We gave it a solid 89 out of 100 in our Dragon's Dogma 2 review. Secondly, it came saddled with a host of very dumb microtransactions, a lot of which are just tacked off the deluxe edition, a boon for new adventurers, new journey pack, and sold piecemeal. And then if you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see here there's just a bunch of 21 microtransactions ranging from, this is in Monopoly money here, not US dollars, but 89 pence. Cents over in England? I don't know. All the way up
89
to
governor dollars.
Governor dollars, all the way up to $4 and $4 governor dollars and 45 governor cents.
There we
go. Cue a barrage of understandably negative reviews from players who quite reasonably have no context for how rare any of the items listed are. I can't imagine a world in which this decision would have gone down well with anybody, but here we are. If you oppose the idea of microtransactions and fully priced games in general, I don't want to tell you that you're wrong for abstaining. However, if you were looking forward to Dragon's Dogma 2, I want to reassure you that you can find almost all of these items just lying around or in shops. One particular bugbear at the moment is the poorly named Art of Metamorphosis character creator. Namely, there's a perception from players that the game's one save only policy is to help drive up the sales of this thing. While you can have your own opinions about save files, the Art of Metamorphosis book itself costs about 500 Rift Crystals or RC. That's a little expensive early on, which that's not even a microtransaction currency. That's just the currency that's
in-game.
That's just an in-game, like what you make by doing quest. Itself costs 500 Rift Crystals. It's a little expensive early on, but you'll be flush with RC eventually. Hilariously, just buying 500 Rift Crystals straight up is cheaper, which highlights the actual problem I have with these microtransactions. By and large, they're just a paid convenience skips for a game where inconvenience is the point. The only 2 microtransactions I have a problem with is the Explorer's Camping Kit, which appears to be lightweight and notes that purchasing the DLC makes it available in-game, and the Port Crystal, which our guides writer Sean Martin has only found a handful of in around 50 hours of the game. You'll still need fairy stones to use Port Crystals, however, and you can't buy those with your wallet. But even then, both of these options just kneecap what makes Dragon's Dogma 2 a fun and unique game, which does lead me to my conclusion that these microtransactions are, frankly, just a very stupid decision, likely created at a publisher level rather than a developer one.
Bingo.
Part of what makes this whole, and that's like 99% of microtransactions across the industry, but
yep.
I digress. Part of what makes this whole debacle frustrating is that this is all the context you'd only get by playing the game or by reading this article, but it's confusion that was completely unnecessary for a game that, performance problems aside, is doing a lot of things right. If the microtransactions here have put you off at Dragon's Dogma 2, that's completely fair enough, but it's important to note that none of these purchases are necessary and that the game is not designed around you having them. It's just baffling business choices and bad optics from top to bottom. So TLDR, basically all the microtransactions are of items that you can just buy or find for free in the game. So what's the point of them other than just to piss off gay players? Like, that's all it's doing.
I bet the team was like, when they heard from the publisher, they were like, the publisher wants to put in the microtransactions, and they had to tell them, like, what do you can get this stuff in the, what are you talking about? Because they have the publisher is only thinking about numbers.
So it's it's developed
like numbers, by optic and whatnot.
Yeah, it's developed and published by Capcom,
which is crazy because they make games.
Yeah.
They're a developer. Why would they do this?
They develop the game and they publish the game themselves, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, if it was actual like exclusive DLC items, then this makes sense.
Right.
like, hey, either buy the digital deluxe edition, or hey, if you just want like one or two things from the digital deluxe edition, then buy. But it's not. It's like paying for things that you can also already get in the game. I don't know. It just doesn't exactly like the article says, though. It's like a way to what was his words here? Like basically, by and large, they're just paid convenience skips for a game where inconvenience is a point. When you play an RPG, that's the point, is to put a ton of time into the game and like explore and live in this world. And all these do is just allow you to skip all that time and effort. It's like, well, what's the point of playing this game? Why spend $70 for a game and then pay to skip everything?
All the time on the internet, especially Twitter, I see people crying. Oh, this game's not worth $60. It's only 8 hours. Now they give you a game that you have to spend dozens of hours in, and now all of a sudden they want to put in microtransactions to help you bypass it. You can't have it both ways. You bought this game to play it, to spend time, like you just said. This game is meant to be played from front to back. You're not meant to finish it in one day.
Yeah.
It's an adventure.
I don't know what Capcom's thinking over there, because not only are the microtransactions not welcome, but they don't make sense. Like,
it doesn't.
I don't know who over there signed that piece of paper, signing off on this, but they must have been. Like you said,
if it was custom gear or custom mounts or you know what I mean, something that you couldn't get in either like the regular or the deluxe edition, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy about it, but at least it makes sense. But no, this is stuff you could already get. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have much more context about the game either. Have you played the original one? Do you know much about Dragon's Dogma?
I have not. I actually just bought it. It was on sale for like $5 from like 30. So I was actually looking forward to getting into that here pretty soon. But I have not played the original. No.
Okay.
You?
I haven't. No. I remember it's a title I've heard of. Like when they announced this one, I think it was this last year they announced this, right? I feel like it was like Summer Game Fest that we saw a trailer
somewhere around
like
there.
I remember being like, oh, I recognize like that Dragon's Dogma, the title, but I don't think
I know the name.
I don't think I've ever seen like video or gameplay or anything of the game. I couldn't tell you what it was at all. So when it fired up like a fantasy RPG, it was actually kind of surprising. Like, that's not what I was expecting. I know it says dragons, but for some reason in my head, like Dragon's Dogma, it makes me think of like the first thing that popped in my head. This is gonna be really funny. Is like a Yakuza game. Like that's for some reason like I picture it being like a Yakuza type game. Dragon's Dogma. Like are you just going through and?
I mean, it's not impossible to make that connection. I can definitely see it because Yakuza always deals with dragons and dragon fists and dragon moves and whatnot. One of the games is called Like a Dragon. So
exactly,
I get it. I can see it.
That was without actually knowing the context of what the game was, like I could have swore it was like just another like Yakuza style game. And then when I was like, oh, this is a fantasy RPG, way off. Oh man.
Yeah, Capcom, I don't know what you're doing, dude. You made a big game. You should want people to play the big game as much as they can, get as much out of it as they can. So you trying to offer, shortcuts is pretty weird and pretty dumb, actually.
Yeah. And I guess as just a PSA, if you were on the fence about this game or you heard about the microtransactions and were worried about them, basically it sounds like don't worry about them. Just play the game because
just play the game.
You'll
come across all of it.
They don't affect the game really at all for the most part. So you can still have fun. I mean, people are giving it 89 out of 100 on PC Gamer. And I know other places have given it high marks. I think the other shady thing about this, which wasn't mentioned in this article, is when reviewers had early copies of the game, there was no microtransaction or online store menu. So that's why
but it was mentioned in the notes.
Okay, because I feel like I saw that.
You get a guide with it when you're like a reviewer. Okay. It was mentioned in the paperwork, but a lot of people didn't read it because they were worried that it was going to be spoilers and stuff in it. Okay. So to be fair, Capcom did tell people just didn't read it. So.
Yeah, because I remember reading that where people were like, it wasn't in the game like pre-launch. It wasn't until like launch day and the day one patch came out, and all of a sudden everyone's like, wait, what is this?
What do you mean?
What is happening? This is not the game I played before. But it is. It just has optional stuff that doesn't affect you.
Doesn't need to be there.
Just don't pay for it. It's not like Capcom is literally coming to your house and pulling money out of your wallet. Like, just don't pay for the microtransactions. If you don't like them, then you can still enjoy the game and also still vote with your wallet by not paying for microtransactions. So there you go. Wild world. When are microtransactions going to disappear? That's what I want to know. When are we done with them?
Not ever.
Because I miss the days where, like, DLC is fine, but these stupid microtransactions have got to go. I'm done with them.
You can pay 69 cents for a red shirt. Oh, gee, thank you, developer. Love it. That's the best.
Wild.
Were you ever gonna put this in the game? Yeah, but we'd rather you would pay for it.
Yeah, pay for it now, and then in 3 years you'll get it for free. Crazy. Well, with that, I think that's it for our nerdy nudes. Now it's time for our Patreon ad.
Let's do it.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1, and you get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as previous seasons of Super Gamer Book Club, ad-free, and season 1's even Patreon exclusive. You can only get it over there. And then we also have our Patreon exclusive show, Super Later Boys. There's 5 episodes up now, and hopefully this week, Adrian and I will be recording the next one for you guys. Yeah, patreon.com/supergamerboys, $1, early and ad-free. Gets you a lot of goodies right off the bat. But we got some more tiers if you're interested. $5, you get the show notes early. So you know what we're going to be talking about here on the show. You know exactly the news stories, the questions, what we've been playing. And if you want, you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts right on the show notes. So if you have thoughts about the news stories that week, or you want to answer the listener questions, or you want to share what you've been playing, or you have thoughts on what we've been playing, you're like, hey, they've been playing that, I've been playing it too. You can leave your comments right on the Google Doc that I upload each and every week. And let us know what you think to get your voice heard here on the air, especially for those who don't always catch us on Monday nights when we're recording live over on Twitch and YouTube. That's a way to do it. If you're not around, that way you can hear us discuss it later on Wednesday when these release to the public. $10, you can be a a Super Gamer sponsor, where you get all those previous perks and a shout out at the top of each and every show. And then the top dog tier, $15 a month, Patreon producer. You can get all the previous perks and pitch us a show segment. So if you have an idea for a segment for this show, a new show altogether, maybe just a segment that we will post on social media through the week, then you can support us there. And we'd love to hear you out, hear your ideas. Adrian originally started out doing Super Indie Boys. He was supporting us there and had a really fun segment that he did each and every week, showing off indie games here on the show. Kajoma currently does his Kajoma Card Game Corner. Comes out a couple times a week over on the social media, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And then, we've had various others in the past. So we always appreciate all of our supporters. We have some awesome people over there who support us, and we're very, very thankful for that. And then, let's see, how else can they support us? They can support us over at sgbstore.com. Buy some merch, buy some t-shirts, buy some hats, buy some coffee mugs, buy some stickers. We got a lot of fun stuff over there, and you should go check it out. sgbstore.com. And last but not least, I do want to shout out our Twitch. Only because if you have an Amazon Prime account, which you probably do, most people do, everyone loves that free shipping. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch account. It's completely free to you, and you can use your Prime Gaming sub that you get each month for free to support our channel. We get $5 out of the deal, and you get access to an ad-free viewing on Twitch and access to our emotes over there. as well as a bunch of other perks that Twitch gives you. It has nothing to do with our channel, but even just linking those 2 accounts. So link your Amazon to Twitch, drop that Prime sub here. We'd very much appreciate it. And yeah, but otherwise Jeff Bezos is going to take that money and go to Subway. So you might as well just give it to us, so we can go to Subway. Is Subway good anymore? I can't remember the last time I've had Subway sandwich.
Good question. Great question. I'll get back to you on that one when I have one.
Yeah, you got to have one now and report back next week. Subway's
Great,
still
thanks.
Good. Is Subway good? I had Quiznos sub like a month or
Quiznos.
So. It was at an airport.
Quiznos is good eating.
Denver Airport. We were in Denver Airport, and I had a Quiznos sub. I had Quiznos in forever.
Well, they're
because most of them were shut down. Yeah, but there was one in Denver Airport, and let me tell you, it was pretty dang good.
I used to love to go to my uncle's house because he had one like 5 minutes from him, and every time I would go over, we would get it. Oh man, what a good sub!
Carrie's in the chat says, y'all are still hungry. Yes, I'm starving. I'm so hungry now. I've had dinner. I've had snack. I have no reason for me to be hungry, but I am.
Food talk will always do that to you.
All right, that's it for the Patreon ad. Let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, this is the part of the show where I absolutely have to ask you what you playing.
Ooh, buddy, what am I playing? Well, I recently finally took the plunge and bought a Backbone controller for my phone.
Woohoo!
And I gotta be honest, dude, this thing rules.
Oh, yeah. Does it feel good?
Yeah, it actually feels pretty good. I don't know what people were talking about.
Doesn't feel cheap or anything like that?
No, it feels pretty well built. Works well. I did not know that the triggers were analog. So that was, that was something.
That's it doesn't have any haptic features in it, right? It's just a controller, basically.
It's just a controller, but it uses the vibration of the phone as the vibration, which is pretty clever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I bought the PlayStation themed version.
Nice.
Because I expect to be making some developments here in the near future, so I rather would get ready for remote play now. But Apple Arcade has a lot of games that what's the word? Support controllers.
Yeah.
And I recently have been really, really into, oh man, just a bunch of different games right now. I've been going back and forth out of all of them, but the biggest one would be Dead Cells. I think I'm pretty hooked on Dead Cells. This is my first time like giving it a real go.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, this game is pretty good. It's pretty great.
Deep into it on Switch back when it first came out, and I loved it. But they've come out with like a bunch of DLC stuff. Like, don't they have like Castlevania DLC and stuff like that? I haven't touched any of that. I
stumbled into that.
But man,
I ran into one of the Belmont characters, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And then I went and followed him through a door, and then it was Castle Dracula, and then it started playing Castlevania music. I said, "Oh, this game rips.
That's awesome.
This is awesome."
Oh, so good. Yeah,
but it's so awesome to like just be able to be anywhere and then have like, it doesn't take up much space in your bag, so you could just pull it out, clamp it on, and you're good to go. Like your phone is now a full-on complete gaming system.
Now, does it have Bluetooth in it or no?
It does not, from what I understand.
Okay.
Well, here I have the box.
Because I feel like
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
I thought I saw an ad somewhere where they were like using it like on a laptop. But maybe they were just plugging it in. Maybe
you can. I mean, it has
USB, but
it has USB-C pass through, so you can plug it in like that. You can charge your phone while you play if you want. I don't see Bluetooth on here.
So maybe it was plugged in and I just didn't notice it in the video. But because I get ads. I mean, the ads are already horrendous on Instagram, and like for me, the last like 2 weeks, every other ad is a Backbone ad. Straight up, like I get ads. Just an absurd amount of Backbone ads, like trying to get me to buy one of these. And they want me to buy one so bad. And I want to get one so bad, but when my job is like, my income's on the line, it's hard to start going and spending money when I don't know what the future holds. So like, because they're on sale right now, like you can get one for like what, like $80 or whatever.
$80, yeah, that's what I did.
I was looking at them, but I'm like, shouldn't do it. But yeah, in the one video, it looked like he was using it as a computer, and I assumed it was Bluetooth, but maybe it was plugged in. I just wasn't paying attention. But either way,
you can use it as its own controller too. You just plug it in, which is also another bonus. Now I don't have to carry around another controller. You know, when I carry my Mac around, I can just plug it right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I've been going back and forth between that and Death Stranding, which still freaking blows me away that Death Stranding can run on a phone. So
that's awesome. Dang.
Having a ball with both of those.
So good. It's amazing. Oh, man.
But
yes.
How about yourself? What have you been playing?
Well, I finished up Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2. So it's really confusing. There's Half-Life 2, and then there's Half-Life 2 Episode 1, which is technically like a spin-off, not a spin-off game. It's DLC, but it's a standalone game. Like it wasn't just like a download. Like it was a full other game, but it was a sequel, a half sequel to Half-Life 2. I don't know why they didn't call Episode 2 though, because it's technically like a second part. But there's Half-Life. So yeah, there's Half-Life 2, and then there's Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and then there's Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So there's 3 standalone games that are all within the Half-Life 2 story. But I had played through all those because it's pretty much exactly 1 year ago, I was on a Call Me By Your Game co-op episode hosted by our good friend Connor McCabe, and I was alongside Kristen and Michael. Where we talked about Half-Life 1. I'd never played Half-Life 1 before. And it's one of those things where like I didn't super enjoy it, but I respected it. I'm like, all right, I understand this was like kind of like the great grandpappy of first-person shooters. Like I understand what's going on here. But playing Half-Life 2 and then Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2. What an absolute game changer. That game is very good. The story is amazing. The characters are so fun. The worlds are great. Like the weapons are so fun. The grav gun, I just can't get enough of the grav gun, just chucking stuff around. Loved it. Loved every moment of it. I enjoyed Half-Life 2 the best, probably, like the full game. And then between the episodes, I think I like Episode 2 more than Episode 1, but only barely. And actually, if you want to hear more and more of my thoughts on that, you can either support them over on Patreon at Super NPC Radio. I think it'll be Patreon exclusive until usually like a year or so later. Like later on, like a couple years later, they'll release it for free. But I think it'll go up for free on Wednesday on YouTube. So if you want to listen to it, you got to wait. But if you're okay with watching on YouTube, I think technically it goes up on this Wednesday, is what he was saying. So stay tuned for Wednesday. To check that out. It was a blast. It's always a blast chatting with those folks. It was a fun time getting the gang back together. We made a joke at the end, I guess spoilers. We're like, all right, we're getting back together again next March to play Half-Life Alyx. Is that what we're doing?
Oh.
well, actually the joke was we're getting together next year to play Half-Life 3. Ha ha ha. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be released within the next year, of course, totally. But no, more realistically, maybe we'll do Half-Life Alyx, which I didn't realize was like a 12 or 13 hour game. It's VR.
Really?
That seems like a long time to spend in VR, but yeah, it's a full,
I would have told you it was 2 or 3 easy.
It's a full 12-hour experience. It's like the same length as Half-Life 2, but it's all in VR. I was like, that seems like excessive, but okay. I've only heard amazing things about it.
Yeah.
But so go check them out. It'll be on the. I'll repost stuff. Just stay tuned to my social media. I'll retweet stuff because I don't know what channels exactly, but it will be available for free in some places and paid other places. Overall, good game. I don't know why I waited so long to play the episodes, because I played Half-Life 2 years ago when it first came out on Orange Box. I had the Orange Box back in the day, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really like it that much. I'm like, this is fine. So I didn't play the episodes. They were on the Orange Box, but I never touched them. But then, playing through everything now, I went all 3 games in the last month. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I was a dumb kid who just did not know a good game if it hit me upside the head, That's
usually how it goes.
Yeah. But the other game I tried and I want to talk about, I played a demo. It was recently released for Sandland, which is the new who makes
Akira
that one?
Toriyama.
Yeah, Akira Toriyama. I think
it's Square, isn't it? Or is it Bandai?
That's what I was looking up. Developers ILCA, published by Namco Bandai Games America. Yeah. So we saw the trailer for this. I think that was also Summer Game Fest, or maybe it was Game Awards or something last year. And it looked really cool. At the time, I was like, that looks neat, but I didn't really think much more about it because I don't really have a ton of experience with these games. Like I've only ever seen gameplay of Dragon Quest. I've only ever seen like a lot of I'm trying to think that I don't really have a lot of experience with his franchises that he's worked with, Toriyama. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just kind of like, it looks cool, but that's about as far as it'll go. So I was like, oh shoot, they can't put out a free demo. I got to check this out. And sort of kind of put you in my headspace. What I was anticipating going to this game was like a Dragon Quest or an RPG style, like turn-based, fantasy even, like something like that. But what actually happened was I got dropped into a world with no context whatsoever, no cutscene, no story, no setup, no who the heck these characters are, and just let loose to roam this empty desert with stuff around. But again, no context, no explanation, no nothing. I'm like, okay, this is fine, I guess. You guys know me. I love games for their story. Like I'm a story guy. Like I can forgive a lot of gameplay if it has a really good story, but gameplay doesn't necessarily always do it for me. Like it's not the other way around. Like if it has really good gameplay and a crappy story, I'm probably gonna bail because I don't care how good the gameplay is if the story sucks. And so right off the bat, I'm like, all right, they're not giving me anything in this demo. Like it's more of, it went from like a demo to like, this should be called a tech demo. Like this isn't like a story demo at all. That's for sure.
A full game package demo.
Yeah. And so I was roaming around this world and fighting some stuff. And right off the bat, I was turned off by like the controls and the mechanics. It's very much vehicle combat focused, which that's not surprising. It's in the a lot of the marketing. They talk about like, oh, fast-paced vehicular combat, blah blah blah. But I guess in my head I assumed that was like a part of the game. Like, oh, that's just, sometimes you're in a car and you're fighting things. From this demo, it makes it seem like that's the game. You're in vehicles and you're fighting things. That it's almost more like a mech game, but you're not always necessarily in a mech. Like you can be in a robot suit, you can be on a motorcycle, you can be in a tank, you can be, and I think the idea is throughout the game, you collect these summons. They call them vehicle summons. You collect these vehicle summons and then just do vehicle combat against big bosses and stuff. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I was expecting more, do
you think it would be more favorable for you if they had started? Because it sounds like this wasn't the best way to execute a demo, right? There's no hook per se. Do you think if they would have started off with the story element, or at least just a little bit of like world building, maybe you would have felt different about the overall experience you had? Or do you think like the gameplay itself is just so not in your wheelhouse that you wouldn't have really progressed further either way?
I might, like if there was a way I could get a little more context to what's going on and who these characters are and what this world is. 'Cause that's the other thing, like while you're running around the world, like they're having conversations, which is cool because they're not just like stale, stagnant characters that just kind of follow you around, because you have like 2 buddies with you during the demo. It's like, all right, these are like your characters talking, the characters who are with NPCs are talking. It's like, this is cool, but I don't know what any of this means. Like they were like talking about something and talking about things, and it's like you're kind of giving me insight into the world, but also just creating more questions because I don't understand like what these references are. You might be onto something where if the demo is just more of like a story demo, I might have been in more. But and if I had more maybe training into how to use these mechanics, because being dropped in the middle of a desert to fight a bunch of big things kind of just sucked, I guess, to put it bluntly. Like that's
fair.
It looks gorgeous, don't get me wrong. Like that's the other thing is like seeing the trailers right off the bat, I'm like, oh, I love this. And like the last few weeks, seeing a lot of stuff about Toriyama online since his passing, like people have been sharing a lot of art, a lot of his designs. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot. Not even thinking about Sandland, but just thinking about like just him and his art and his design aesthetic. Like, man, I love his mechanical designs, whether it's like robots and mechs or vehicles, cars, motorcycles. Like he has such a cool style to the way he builds vehicles and weapons and stuff like that. So then when they announced this demo, I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I'm in. Like that sounds so cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess for me right now, I'm not in any hurry to pick up the game or pre-order the game. I guess the game doesn't come out until like next month or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, March. That can't be right. It says March 18th. That's definitely not correct. I'm pretty sure
it would have been out already. Yeah. Maybe the demo came out March 18th.
I'm pretty sure the game comes out next month. But at this point,
Carrie had a good point. She said, "Sounds like they made this demo more for people who knew the manga or something."
Yeah. Which, I mean, if anything, too, like seeing the art and seeing the designs and seeing like, and now being curious about what the heck's going on, I'm like, maybe I need to go read the manga. Like, this sounds like it could be really cool.
That'd be interesting if you did go read it and then you came back and played the demo again and you're like, actually, this rules.
Just full circle, I'm in.
They nailed X, Y, and Z from the book. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm not feeling that. I'm like, it was not a good introduction for me, and the combat didn't feel good. It was kind of clunky because it's a lot of like, it's fast paced. Like there's no turn-based anything. It's all very fast paced action, like stuff shooting at you, some stuff swinging at you, shooting bombs at you. And you're trying to dodge it while also like flipping through menus, like and doing like hotkeys and stuff on your controller. Like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Like, let me bring up this tank. Quick before I die. Cause that's the other thing. If your vehicle drops to 0 health, it just pops up black screen, game over. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, that vehicle is disabled, but I'm just going to summon a new vehicle. No, like when that vehicle dies, like you die, that's it. So if you want to live longer, either you need to hightail it out of there or you need to summon a new vehicle before the other one dies. And it's like, that's just so clunky because when you're in the heat of the battle, it's like a Helldivers moment, honestly, where you're trying to call in a stratagem. It's like, I'm trying to call in this stupid summon and I'm like, I'm going to die, but I'm also trying to dodge him and run around and move. And it's not what I was looking for this type of game. So yeah, I don't know. I feel bad being negative, but it's just not a game for me. It's not a game for me at this point. At this point, I'll put an asterisk there because who knows? Maybe down the road there's a new demo that introduces story more, or maybe I read the manga and get into it. But at this point, it's not for me. And that, and that's fine because I'm. As soon as I finish Half-Life, I am back into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so I don't really have time for anything else at this point.
Jealous. So jealous.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Well, I believe that's all we got for the show this week. Let me double check. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all for tuning in. Even you, Sucks Evan Plays, tuning in right at the end. We appreciate each and every one of you who listen to the show, watch the show, tune into live streams during the week. By the way, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we streaming. Adrian streams on Tuesdays. Yeah, boy. Do you have any idea what you're doing tomorrow? Is it going to be a surprise?
I do have a couple of games that I have in mind.
play some Death Stranding on your phone.
I mean, I could technically well, no, it's gonna be a nightmare to do that. I could make my Mac fry and try to play it on there, which
there you go.
You know. But there's a new game that I played the demo for called Minami Lane, where it's like you build out a neighborhood.
Yeah, and I saw you playing that, and I saw it was recently launched on Steam. I got the notification for it.
Yeah. So I picked that up, and I think I'm gonna try that out tomorrow because I really liked what I played at the demo.
Okay. Nice. Sounds good. So yeah, tune in tomorrow, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and youtube.com/supergamerboys. Watch Adrian live playing that. Thursday, probably be Final Fantasy. Unless anything else changes or comes out. We'll see. What else do we have? Oh yeah, we have the rest of the show to do here. Patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you love what we do and want to support us, you can head over there, starting at just $1 a month, and support us. We'd very much appreciate that. $1, that's all it takes to get episodes early and ad-free and helps us support the show. Thank you to all those who do support us over there. And if you want to be awesome like them, go give it a shot. Go check it out. Go do the thing. You can also support us at sgbstore.com. If you want to get a sweet t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a coffee mug, a sticker, a hat, very cool hat, go over to sgbstore.com. Support us over there by buying some sweet merch. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It would be much appreciated. Or Spotify. Yeah, I think they have ratings over there now. Go ahead and throw that 5 stars our way. We'd very much appreciate that. Ratings and reviews help Apple and Spotify to realize this is not a dead podcast. People do listen to this. So please go rate and review it every once in a while. That'd be great. We appreciate it. Shout out to Jack, Sriracha, and Yate for allowing us to use their music here on the show. Make sure to find them on Apple Music and Spotify later. Links will be in the show description and on podcast and on YouTube. So find those links over there. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I cannot talk, but I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
Oh man, it's hard to talk sometimes, you know. But I think that's all I got. So Adrian, if you don't mind taking us out here.
Sure thing. Folks, as always, thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. We appreciate any and all forms of support. It helps us to keep the lights on and do what we do, and keeps us going as we continue to climb up this here hill called content creation.
Chugga.
Continue to chug along with us as we keep going. Like we always say, it's up from here. And until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
I talked all that trash about PS5. Ooh, Mars After Midnight. Let's play.
Right now?
Right now.
Shout out on the stream. See you later, guys.